Today is Thursday, June 10th. I am here today with Kent Greenawalt. And Kent, would you describe for us your business and the nature of what it is you do?
Well, I'm President and CEO of Footlevelers, which is a company that makes custom-made foot orthotics for doctors all around the world. And we specialize in chiropractic because we make a specific product called a spinal pelvic stabilizer, which is used to put in the patient's shoe after the chiropractor gives an adjustment, and that adjustment then will have more permanency and last longer, and we can prove that with our research. That's just not me saying this. To help the chiropractor actually be more effective and do a better job.
I see. And in your business, obviously, you've had a relationship with Terry.
For many years.
And how did that relationship start?
Well, I remember one time I saw Dr. Yochum, and I believe at that time he was doing presentations with a colleague of his, Don Freuden. And we met each other in, I believe it was Chicago. And I was very impressed with Dr. Yochum and Dr. Freuden and their joint presentation. And as a result, I said to myself, you know, this is someone that I want to get to know better. He's a nice guy, and we have a huge postgraduate education division for chiropractors, and it'd be great to have Dr. Yochum help be a part of that.
Do you remember about what year that might have been?
Boy, you're going to test my memory now. I'm really not sure. I'm going to tell you it was in the 80s.
So you guys have been associated for somewhere along 30 years?
I think that's safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terry tells a story about how he perhaps was involved with your father at your father's home in Las Vegas or something. Can you relate some of that?
Well, they spent a lot of time together out there, and again, we of course had a business relationship with Terry, but we also had a very good personal relationship. And my father was a very loving, good man, and as a result of that relationship, that they grew more friendly with time. Terry at times would come out and spend some time with my father at his home, and he would have Terry's wife Inga and even his daughter Kimberly would be out there. So with time, they spent more time together and had a chance to do some fireside chats and talk about life and what's important.
Okay, we're going to stop for just a moment. Terry has arrived, and please come join us. Well, Terry, since you've joined us, Kent and I were discussing the beginnings of your relationship, and we had just gotten into talking about how you used to go to Kent's father's home in Las Vegas, and how you were welcomed into that home and how you developed a close personal relationship. Would you tell us a little bit about what you experienced out there and what that meant to you?
Yeah, well, I met Kent in Chicago at one of the Parker seminars years ago with your dad. And I remember your dad came up to me and said, hey, I hear you might be writing a book.
Little one.
Why don't you write something in one of our journals for us? You know, I really didn't know you. Of course, my dad knew your father. And I remember meeting you in the hallway, and I said, well, what's the name of your journal? Success Express. And I thought that was an interesting name. And from that, I did write something for him, and I got to meet Kent, and we were at meetings together, and I got to experience his father. His father was a great man, great leadership, lots of energy. I mean, his dad was a guy who learned how to, you know, he told me once, sit in front of the fireplace. I had a few fireplace chats with your father, this beautiful home he had in Las Vegas, that you need to learn to give before you can receive in life. I remember telling his dad, I don't have anything to give, I'm broke, you know. And he said, well, you can give of your time, effort, and energy, because I think you're someone who's going to go in the right direction in the profession. And I never forgot that. You know, your dad was a motivating force in my life. And then when my father died, he kind of adopted me like a son. And Kent became like a brother to me, brother I never had. And so that relationship was really important to me, you know, because I was going through suffering quite a bit with my father, having been sick. He had a stroke and he died. but he lingered for quite a while, and during that time frame, Kent was close to me, and his father was close to me. So I'm sure you remember those times, Kent.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And then there was lots of seminars that were going on. Remember the Centennial? We had countdown to the Centennial, blast off the Centennial, second blast off the Centennial.
We did the Centennial a lot.
Yeah.
As much as we could.
Where was this held?
We had a series of seminars across the country, and I think we had some in Newark and Chicago and LA, and then the next year we had them in probably the same places and added a few cities, like maybe Denver and Kansas City. I think we did one in St. Louis. So we did our best to cover the country, and we did.
Yeah. We were promoting the importance of celebrating the 100-year celebration of chiropractic.
I see.
1995.
I see.
So there's some lead-in seminars.
Sure.
Right.
And I got to know him a lot better through that, Kent and his father, because I was one of a number of speakers that spoke on the program. And, you know, we donated our time to support the cause, as Ken has donated
certainly
time, effort, and money. I mean, the people at Foot Levelers have, I've said this many times in my seminars, and I really believe it's easy to tell the truth, that Foot Levelers, started by your dad and finished by yourself, has given more to chiropractic than any vendor in the entire profession. If you put all the vendors together in one bucket, what they've put forth financially and emotionally to support the profession, Foot Levelers has done more than all of them collectively together.
That's our pleasure.
And you know, I really mean that. You know, that's an important thing to all of us, and important. Your dad led us in that direction. You know, he was a absolutely super guy, and I think I might have been. Kimberly and I were the last guys to speak to him alive when he died.
Right?
On the 26th, he died on the 26th of December, day after Christmas, and he was pretty sick, and he was falling in that direction. And we called to see how he was doing, and he wasn't doing so good. And he was a great guy, and you know, I don't know. Do you have any memories of me when we first? I mean, we first met, or how our relationship was?
Well, before you came, I told the story how we met, and I had heard you do some lectures with Don Freuden.
Yeah.
And that and back then there were some large crowds, big crowds, lots of people. And I said, "Geez, this guy is a heck of a lecturer, and I hear he can write." and anyway, so it was like Terry said. We said, "Well, how about a little writing? Would you like to do that?" And one thing led to another, and we had a mutual friend that we had known before Terry. It was a great friend of Terry's, Dr. Reed Phillips.
Oh,
I'm
sure,
you've interviewed him, or will be. And Reed Phillips helped introduce us even more, and that was sort of the kind of, I guess, the tipping point where the relationship became busier from the work side and more friendly and loving on the personal side.
Well, I know that you have over the years developed a real symbiotic business relationship. Terry promotes your products quite extensively with good cause, and you have supported Terry in a number of ways. But on a more personal side, person to person, how do you see Terry, or what's your impression of Terry as a teacher, a person to give back to the profession?
Well, you're not going in the direction I thought you were going to go, so I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to have my own stuff.
Okay.
Okay. As a teacher in the profession, geez, it is a Hall of Fame experience, which, by the way, he'll be inducted in the Chiropractic Hall of Fame 2 days from now. But he understands his subject matter better than anyone that I know of. When he taught for the Colorado School of Medicine, he was elected the most favorite teacher or the most honored teacher. I don't know the exact title, but numerous times. This wasn't a one-time win. This was a multiple-time
I understand it's about 9 times or
well,
something.
there you go. So quite a bit. And the point is that Terry was always a really good teacher. But in addition to that, Terry has always been a wonderful friend. And Terry has helped me through times of trouble and been there for when I needed help, whether it be personal issues or whether it be the health issues, whether it be just business issues. Terry was always somebody that you could talk to, but more importantly, Terry was somebody that you could always count on. If Terry tells you he's going to do something, don't worry, it's done. When Terry says, I'm going to make dust, not eat dust, he means that. He's always been a leader, he's always been a great friend, and a lot of people will profess and say that they are a good friend, and they can be. But Terry proves it. Big difference. Big difference.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
That's right.
Terry, from your perspective, how have you seen your relationship with Kent evolve on a personal level?
Well, brother-like, I think.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be times where he wanted me to look at an x-ray, or somebody he knew in the family needed to look at a film, or, you know, he'd call, and I was always trying to make myself available for you, and always, and if I wasn't sure what I was looking at and I needed some help, I'd always make sure I'd run it by the right guy to look at it if it was an area that I, you know, felt, well, I'd like, maybe this is a brain scan, and maybe
Sure.
I'm not a specialist, I'm looking at
Sure.
a brain scan instead of a musculoskeletal scan.
Certainly.
You know? But Kent's a guy that I could bounce, you know, thoughts off of, you know. We were at so many meetings together, flew on so many airplane trips together, and whenever we spent time together, we'd come up with a good idea. And, you know, Kent's a great businessman, knows business, and maybe I wasn't so good in business. He could give me some advice. We played tennis together. I spent time with him.
We
Kent was
did.
a good tennis player.
Took your Corvette through Red Rock Canyon and
Yep.
raced it a little bit.
Yeah, and
Did some things.
both have had a great lover of cars, and so, you know, it's been great to have somebody that you could count on who's, I mean, Kent Greenawalt's world renowned in the profession. I mean, his image as a guider of the profession is world renowned. And,
That's stereo.
and, you know, to have a friend that's that close that you can count on, you know, Kent will tell me what I need to hear. Kent will tell me what maybe not what I need to hear, but what I should hear, right?
I understand.
You know, and I think there's been times where I've told you, when you've asked me questions,
same thing.
lots of people, someone as prominent as Kent Greenawalt, people tell him what they think he wants to hear, instead of maybe what the whole truth is, nothing but the truth, so help you God. So I think from that perspective, we've had that kind of a relationship. So, you know, it's been wonderful.
We're sort of like the messengers of truth to each other. You know.
Yeah, I can relate to that, I think. So
Absolutely.
I think that's the mark of a real friend, rather than, I don't know.
We don't have to worry about politics. Or
Yeah.
worried about anything. We know we each love each other. We know our heart's in the right spot. We don't have to worry about that other stuff.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
And that's not the most common business or personal relationship you'll ever find either.
This is not a
Pretty
common
rare.
relationship. This is not. For me, it's not.
No.
I don't have. Now, I will tell you that recently, Terry and I have not been in touch as much as we used to, because we haven't been thrown together, if you will, at as many meetings lately. But we could pick up where we left off, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, if he calls me or I call him, and we just have that friendship.
It sounds like each of you knows where you stand with each other, and you're confident in that.
I can tell him anything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Kent, if I'm out of line, or if I'm going a little wrong direction, or if he hears something, you know, that he thinks I need to hear. He knows he's not going to hurt me or offend me by telling me. Maybe I've gotten driven on a subject that maybe I'm going in a little too fast in one direction. You know, you don't have too many friends in this world who will do that, you know.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
So from a boy from Iowa, you did pretty good.
Aw, shucks.
He was from Iowa originally. The company was back. The company was
Dubuque, Iowa.
in Dubuque, Iowa.
I will be in Dubuque, Iowa for the 4th of July.
You will?
I will.
Well, there you go.
And his dad then had the vision to build it, and Kent moved the company down to Roanoke. And you know, his products have been fantastic. We've used them. My dad used them. So you know, we had a common ground to do what's right to help the patient. And you know, another thing that I think is important, he started many foundations. He started a foundation for chiropractic progress. I've served on your board. I've made some financial donations to that. You know, he's always about wanting to promote the image of my profession. And he's not a chiropractor, although his company services the profession. He's not a chiropractor, and though his father was a chiropractor, he's always had the vision. And you could have gone different directions, but you stayed loyal to the chiropractic profession, and that's why he's respected around the world. You know, and you know, I value your friendship more than you'll ever.
Me too, Terry.
More than you'll ever know.
You bet.
It's really nice that he's done this interview for us here.
And I know that you're under some time constraints here. So
when have Terry and I not been?
well, that's
you know,
true.
We've always got a lot
That's
going
true.
on. You know.
Yeah.
Terry, is there any area that comes to mind that we have not touched upon that you'd like to get Kent's comments on, or?
No, I think, you know, we pretty well touched on it. You know, I really wanted him to be part of this process because he's been such a great friend and such a leader. There's nobody in the chiropractic profession doesn't know who he is and what his company stood for.
Sure.
And I wanted him to know how important he was to me.
Wow.
So I don't know if you have any final closing comments.
Yes, I would invite some closing comment or some area that you'd like to touch on that maybe we haven't.
Well, I really am not sure who's going to see this, okay? But when you're watching this, what you need to know is this. They broke the DNA chain when they made this man, okay? God could have only done it because it's such a wonderful human being. He has a giving heart. He's incredibly bright. There's a friendship that is beyond loyal. I don't know the right word to use, but if loyal is here, he's above that. Great ethics, a lot of fun. We won't tell those stories, but had a lot of fun together. And I think Terry has helped move the profession forward to quite an extent. He wrote literally the book for chiropractic on radiology that every student around the world reads and studies. And then he also helped bridge our relationship with the medical world and taught at the University of Colorado School of Medicine, radiology. And you heard how they thought this chiropractor was the best professor out of
which is an extreme,
9 years in a row.
An extreme rarity.
So that tells you a little something. And he's a good family man, has got a great family. He's very close to his family. And really, I think just a model human being. So I'm honored to be here. I live in Virginia. I'm here for this event. And I'm delighted I'm going to be here. And Terry, I can't wait to see you on Saturday when they induct you in the Chiropractic Hall of Fame.
Yeah, National College of Chiropractic, where I went to school. Kent's making a special effort to...
And I want a good seat. I know you got a lot of people that... Okay, good.
So it's quite an honor that he'd make the effort to come. Fred will be there. Fred was the best man at my wedding.
Wonderful.
And, you know, I think 1906 is when National was founded. There's been 16 people inducted into the Hall of Fame. 7 have been college presidents. So I'll be number 17 to go into the Hall of Fame at National. It'll be Saturday night. It happens to be the 12th of June. And I know you're making a special effort to
I'll be there.
leave a wedding
I'll be there.
that you're attending in Michigan to
Yep.
fly down
Oh,
to
my.
Chicago for it.
So,
So he's making a special effort. But I really appreciate
hey,
you doing this interview for me. You've meant a lot to me. You've been the brother I really never had.
and likewise.
I love you very
You too,
much.
buddy.
Appreciate
You
all
bet.
you've done
You
for the
bet.
profession and for me personally.
It's an honor.
Thank you, Kent.
And I can't wait to see all these when they're done.
Thank you, Kent.
You bet. Thank you.